Welcome to the Sorcery Podcast, your sacred space to delve into spiritual tools, topics, and practices that will illuminate your path of soul remembering and healing. I'm your host, Ligia Costa, a soul guide, alchemist, soul writing coach, and the creator of the Trust Pathway. I'm deeply grateful to have you here with me. Together, we will embark on a profound exploration of self-discovery and healing, unlocking the secrets that lie within. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sorcery Podcast. And today I would like to talk to you about how to lean into your intuition, because our intuition is such a beautiful gift that we all have and that we can all tap into. And sometimes the world is so noisy around us, we are so busy that we tend to disconnect from this huge part of us that knows so much. It's so wise and that can guide us so well, but because we are disconnected from it, we can't hear it. Intuition is so gentle. It's that kind knowing. It's that quiet voice inside that says things like, I don't know why, but it feels good. Or I don't feel this is the right thing to do right now. Or this doesn't feel right. And in today's world, listening to our feelings is no longer something that is considered ridiculous, right? Like it was before. And more people see intuition as a source of useful information, because that's what it is. Intuition is a source of knowledge that has little to do with predicting the future, but everything to do with the way we store and access information in our brains. And I have a podcast episode all about how intuition is actually nothing woo-woo at all. It's something that it's in our body and that we can access it through our senses. So go back and have a listen. It's a very good episode. Because intuition is not only what you are aware of, but is how your subconscious mind sends messages to your conscious mind. And everything you feel, everything that you hear, taste, dream, your memories, your stories, and your past experiences are all stored in the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is estimated to process around 200,000 times more than what we are aware of. It filters, it weighs in, it combines, it compares all sorts of information. However, because it's in our subconscious mind, we don't know about it. We don't even realize this is happening, because the subconscious mind has only one channel for passing on information to our conscious mind, and that is through our intuition. And that is also why most of the information that is stored and processed and passed on to our conscious minds is not presented in language, but in symbols. And that's why you usually get messages in unexpected and magical and very indirect ways. Your intuition lets you know things through your gut feeling, okay? Through your body. It speaks through your body, through your senses, and through your gut feeling. And it can also translate into a tingling sensation, for instance, in your hands, a buzz in the ears, a moment of inspiration. And it can really be mystical and magical because it talks in images, it talks in meanings, dreams, symbology, whispers. Things only you can understand and interpret. It's not something that you can ask for advice on because it makes sense to you. And on the contrary of what many people think, and there are recent studies on this, is that we often decide intuitively first and then the mind interferes to analyze and make decisions. And with more complicated decisions, such as buying a new phone or buying a house, where you need to take into consideration so many aspects, your conscious mind then gets stuck in thinking and comparing and weighing the pros and the cons, which leads us to get confused and sometimes lost, right? So the best thing to do when we need to make an important decision is to first absorb all the information that's needed and then go and do something completely different to distract us from overthinking, to prevent us from letting our conscious mind, our ego, just start doing all the beautiful thing that it does, which is very logical, very factual, which then leads to overthinking. So the best thing is really to sleep on it and let the subconscious do its work and let the solution present itself when it's ready through our intuition. And what you're doing here really is that you are surrendering to that need for control, right? To that need of knowing everything and getting tangled in doubt and fear. And so it opens yourself as well to trust in your intuition and the signs that it will send to you, even if you don't know why or you don't understand it at first. Because your intuition will always guide you to what's for your highest good, because it will always align with your authentic self, with your deepest desires and your wishes. And learning to listen to your intuition is a form of relaxation as well, and mostly an exercise of surrender, which is something that so many of us struggle with. So I would like to leave you with some tips that you can use to start trusting and leaning into your intuition more. And the first one is to take thoughts, any thoughts that pop into your head seriously, okay? Don't ignore them. Take note of them so you can reflect on them later. I normally have this thing with me that if I see something popping, like a thought or a symbol or a word or a dream that keeps repeating, normally by the third time I notice that sign, I take it seriously. I'm like, okay, this is something here for me to pay attention. Let me explore this. And usually I would say 99% of times it's what I needed to hear. It's so aligned with everything that's happening in my life. So that is my first tip. The second tip is when you are feeling overwhelmed to make a decision, write down your thoughts. Write down any fears that you have, any doubt that you have, anything that inner voice is telling you that's normally very judgmental and normally very fear-based. So write that down. All the whys, all the doubts, everything, and then go to sleep. And in the morning, read what you wrote and make a decision from a grounded, reflective state of mind. So don't make any decisions when you are already feeling overwhelmed and feeling pressured, okay? The third tip is to relax. There is nothing better for allowing you to listen to the voice of intuition louder, to make space for that voice to be heard, than doing practices that ground you, okay? So a hot bath, a meditation, walking in nature, exercising, gardening, listening to music. So what you are doing here really is just regulating your nervous system, right? You are relaxing your body so that then you open yourself to hear the voice of the intuition. Because when your body feels safe and relaxed, that's when the conscious mind takes a step back and stops worrying about survival and fixing things and more letting the creative side take place, the inspiration take place, and obviously the intuition take place as well. The fourth tip is to give yourself permission to daydream. Be creative, okay? Use all your senses. Use your imagination. Use your childlike play and see what inspiration comes up. Because when we are so busy and we feel overwhelmed and we feel triggered and all of these things, we tend to not have the mood, right? For being creative and doing the things that normally relax us or the things that we enjoy. We tend to put everything else in front of or being a priority of our own self-care. And to me, self-care is not just, going to a spa and doing a bath or doing a massage or, having your hair done. Self-care to me is really creating space to do the things that we enjoy, the things that light us up, the things where we lose track of time. That's where you are caring for your soul. And when you are in that state, your imagination, your inspiration, your creativity will sparkle. The fifth tip is to keep an eye out for symbols, for signs, for synchronicities, everything that shows up in your environment, dreams that you have. Again, you can have that same rule. If you notice 3 times, then you know it's for you and you know it's for you to pay attention. So then do your research. If you keep seeing 111, if you keep seeing a bee showing up for the most random places, just do your research. You can then Google it or get, books. There are books out there with symbology, and look into the symbology of the bee or the number or the word or the animal or anything that you see, that you keep seeing, because that is meant for you to pay attention. Tip number 6 is to have the courage to be alone and make your own decisions. And I know that we tend to go to our partners or to our best friends or to family members to ask for guidance or ask for help when we are struggling to make decisions, just to get a second opinion, which is nothing, there is nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong. As long as you also create that space to be alone and make your own decisions and make it from a place of this feels good to me, rather than I should do this because so-and-so thinks that is the best way to do it. Because your intuition is your inner compass. So make space for listening to it and find the courage also to act on it. Don't just listen to it and then ignore it. Act on it. And the last tip number 7, is in case of important decisions like buying a house or something that's really important for you to make a decision, like your life depends on it, create space for nothingness, okay? Let your subconscious do its work, because it's in those important decisions that we tend to, and very valid that is, to weigh the pros and cons. We overthink, we worry, we try to think of ways of making things work. And sometimes we don't know how that's going to work. And obviously we get into this spiral of worrying and then doubting. And then we might just back up and not make the decision. So it's really important to let your subconscious do its work. So once in a while, check in with yourself and ask how you are feeling and where does the feeling come from. And go a step further and ask yourself where you are feeling the contraction in your body. Where you're feeling those emotions in your body, okay? And just try to create space for doing nothing so that you don't get consumed by your conscious mind, okay? Before I love you and leave you, I'll pull a card from my Trust journaling deck. And the card I pulled is from the Unravel suite. And the soul inquiry is, when have I felt whole? What makes me feel whole? When have I felt whole? What makes me feel whole? And the affirmation is, happiness is my birthright. And I feel this is very, very aligned with our conversation today, because when we are connected with our intuition, when we are not disconnected from that side of ourselves, we are able to feel more at peace because we trust everything is being taken care of. We trust that no matter what, we will be safe, we will be happy, and we'll feel whole. We will feel whole when we are connected with our intuition and we learn how to surrender, as well as we learn how to trust. Because that part of ourselves, that part of our soul that knows we are loved, that knows we are being taken care of, that knows we are safe and worthy and enough, will be present in our lives. And so we will feel whole. So yeah, it's a very good soul inquiry for you to explore and reflect on. I hope this episode has been useful and helpful. And thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Sorcery Podcast and for holding space for this conversation. It is truly magical to be able to walk with you on this journey of soul healing and inner transformation. If you resonated with this episode and found it valuable, I would be grateful if you could leave a review on iTunes. Your feedback helps me reach more souls searching for guidance and healing. For more guidance and soul wisdom to support soul awakening women through the journey of alchemy, please visit my website www.ligiacosta.co.uk. Love and healing to all. See you on the next one.